I need to go to the Constitutional Court to stop this 5% VAT increase. Our country has gone down the drain. We don't have money. We don't have jobs. Even chartered accountants are struggling in South Africa now financially. Our houses are being taken by the banks right now as I speak because we can't afford even our mortgages. We can no longer afford to feed, I don't want to call them ugly names, but they deserve those ugly names. We can't afford to feed a bloated government civil servants of 1.3 million workers who majority of them are stealing our money along with the politicians. We have no guardrails. The Constitutional Court is our last resort. We need to stop the Minister of Finance. We need to stop the President. We need to stop Cabinet. We need to stop the National Assembly. We need to stop all members of Parliament who are colluding against the people of this country. We cannot be run by an oligarchy that takes decisions unilaterally without consulting us, the citizens. We were never consulted, especially on a critical issue such as that. Already, the small number of taxpayers in this country are suffering to ensure that there's social relief grants. It's not our problem that Trump has removed US aid. In fact, I support Trump to remove US aid because we can no longer become irresponsible citizens who stand by, especially the wealthy citizens who are capable of assisting us now. This is a constitutional matter. It's not a high court matter. We go straight to the Constitutional Court. We pass everything. A constitutional matter goes straight to the Constitutional Court. Please. We cannot afford any VAT increase. In fact, we need to go to the Constitutional Court to reverse the first increase of 7.7% that Zuma put in place before he left in 2018 that took us from 14% to 15%. It was already unjust. The biggest injustice is the fact that we have no control over how much money, our money is stolen from every municipality, every provincial government, every state agency of a municipality, of a provincial government, every state-owned company, every government-owned company, every regulatory body. In South Africa, I counted on my own 116 different taxes that we pay. We are the most overly taxed country. We're probably the most overly taxed developing nation in the world. The kinds of taxes that we pay are unjust, are inhumane. They are beyond what apartheid did to us. The apartheid government developed this country, albeit with separate economic development, albeit under racial policies. But we had less unemployment than we have now. We had less crime than we have now. We had less people being raped than we have now. We had competent prisons. We had competent schools. We had competent hospitals. We had competent courts. We had even the death penalty to protect us from the animals that are roaming the streets now, animals who don't even have permission to be in South Africa, illegal immigrants who can kill anyone and get away with it because they have no fingerprints, they can't be traced. And we have people who defend them through illegal and unconstitutional acts like the Bella Bill that says a child who is here illegally can stay illegally, their parents can stay with them. How do you stay in a country illegally when your parent is a criminal? That nonsense needs to be taken to the Constitutional Court. We are not going to pay that. As much as we didn't pay for the e-tolls in Gauteng. By the way, in Gauteng, we didn't pay for e-tolls because people like me and many other people stood firmly by Outer and said, we are not paying as Badali. And we never ever paid. Upanyaza last year, wasukuma ukdawa, wati yena, uzosfagela amanyama e-tolls. I even did a video on TikTok about that. And many people responded and took it to Twitter, and it was effective. And he stopped more e-tolls to charge us for the 6 billion rand that they illegally, unconstitutionally stole from motorists to charge them the e-toll fee after the Constitutional Court, after they violated a Constitutional Court judgment saying they must not bill us. We are not paying even 0.0000001% increase. We are not going to be held hostage by criminals. We've been held hostage enough by criminals in this country. We've been held hostage enough by incompetent thugs who are masquerading as government ministers, as members of parliament, as MECs, as MMCs, as public representatives, who are actually putting themselves on lists without even checking whether they are qualified to be on those lists. There are people in parliament who can read a balance sheet, who can read a management account statement from a government department, who don't know what a debit and a credit is, but they are MPs. We can't have that nonsense. We cannot be held hostage by an unaccountable government. This government is unaccountable. In fact, it's a mafia government.
Kleptocracy.
go to a cabinet meeting and unilaterally decide to make us pay for things that we cannot afford. They must go and check the price of eggs and bread today and tell me who can afford those prices.
And we are standing by her. Other news. Welcome to this channel where we explore and give updates around the globe. The debate over who should replace expelled South African ambassador to the U.S., Ebrahim Rasool, is widening the cracks in the Government of National Unity, GNU. The two biggest parties, the ANC and DA, are at odds over the issue. DA leader Ziller believes President Cyril Ramaphosa should consult GNU parties before appointing Rasool's replacement. She proposes former DA leader Tony Leon for the job, citing his excellent diplomatic skills and experience as an ambassador in Argentina. However, an ANC leader disagrees, stating that Rasool's replacement should not be chosen based on the DA's preferences. The leader argues that foreign policy matters, including ambassador appointments, fall outside the GNU's mandate and are the sole responsibility of the government. Ziller countered that the GNU is, in fact, the government and therefore should be involved in decision-making processes, including foreign policy matters. She emphasized that the ANC should not differentiate between the GNU and the government, as this mindset promotes the ANC's interests over South Africa's. The debate comes at a time when South Africa-U.S. relations are under strain. The DA has announced a working visit to the U.S. to stabilize diplomatic relations, while the ANC has yet to make a similar move. But shouldn't the public have a say in who represents them? After all, politicians work for the people. This idea is rooted in public choice theory, which suggests that people, including politicians and government officials, act in their own self-interest. In an ideal scenario, the public would choose representatives who align with their interests and values. However, public choice theory also highlights the challenges of collective decision-making, where individual preferences may not always align with the greater good. Some of the key questions that arise from this concept include: how can politicians make decisions that benefit the public interest if they're driven by self-interest? How can voters determine which candidates' interests align with their own? Are minority groups inevitably exploited when policies are made with the majority in mind? These questions underscore the complexity of representative democracy and the need for a more nuanced understanding of the relationship between the public and their elected representatives. Please like and subscribe so that we can do more informative videos and also do more research. This will in fact help us grow the channel. See you in the next one.